contenders, we can do some of that. But I was talking to my interns, my my writing people and my production team. But who am I kidding? It's just me and you, Stocks. But we were talking and we thought, you know what, we gotta give some of these underachievers, or I hate the phrase losing teams, but I guess that's what they are right now.
Or as Joe Namath would say, struggling.
Yeah, there you go. That's a good football term for the football fans that we all are. So you got teams like the Rams who were 0-8, and I talked to him earlier today, and I said, you're really a great part of this league, because what is it, 32 owners on a regular basis, maybe 31, maybe a guy drops out for a reason, but we pretty consistently held 32 owners together, in this league this season, which I'm very proud of.
Yeah, if I wanted to throw my sense in there, I just believe that these guys that are fairly new that come into this league see the type of core we have, and it kind of just draws into them and puts that little extra effort when they probably weren't expecting it to be like this. Because let's face it, you're not going to find a league like this that's this well put together.
No.
This organized. The type of the website we have, the podcast we do. I mean, this is a special league, and you're not going to find that. And the new guys are probably finding that out, and they just they're going to pick up their enthusiasm for this league. And basically that's what's showing, because we're not having the guys drop out.
Yeah,
we're going to have our problems here and there, but in all, I just think the guys that come into this league aren't going to go anywhere.
Yeah, I think that's true, and like I said, when you have 32 owners and you have all these guys, somebody's got to lose. Yeah, I mean, when you have 32 owners, you can't just hand losses to the computer. The losses have to go somewhere, and sometimes they're attracted to more owners than other owners because of talent, here or there. But I mean, these guys with a few good drafts or a few good trades could be right back on top. But they're really important to this league. That losing is not everything, and winning is not everything, and it's kind of, you got to kind of come to terms with that. I mean, I'm a competitive guy. I mean, listen, if you're in a league like this, you have to be competitive, because, I mean, I wouldn't say we're the NFL, but we're pretty, the NFL of video gaming, would you say? I mean, we're a pretty put together league, like you've been saying. So you have to have a competitive gene in you to compete in this league, and somebody's got to lose, and it's hard to lose sometimes, as you know, Stock. So I want to give a shout out to the Rams, guys like the Seahawks. But the Rams 0-8, you talked about it, building through the draft. That's what you have to do. So being 0-8 is not too bad. I mean, I don't want to really turn this into a draft show. It's more about the owners. I mean, the Seahawks, maybe they need a quarterback, or they need a guy here or there, but they're right there. I mean, you got me that I just need to screw my head on it right and play good. It won't take that long to turn these teams around. I'd like to talk about two teams, and I want to go more AFC because we always get hate mail, Stocks. Well, actually, we don't get any mail, to be honest, but I like to think if we did get mail, we'd get a lot of hate mail about how we don't talk about the AFC a lot.
Okay, let's do it then.
The Chargers, are they a playoff team?
Chargers are probably going to fall outside.
Yeah, I think they're done. Unfortunately, I think he, what was he, first pick last year? He was up there, and he's made his team a 3-5 team. And let's be honest, though, a lot of his losses probably came inside the division. I mean, you look at the Broncos, 7-1, definitely going to make the playoffs. Well, you got the Chiefs in that division too, so you got to squeeze in room for them. Then let's not forget you got the champions in that division. So to carve out 3 wins in that division, that's pretty impressive. And he's not out of it yet or anything. He's 3-5. There's a lot of stuff that could happen, but I'd hate to say that most of your good AFC teams are going to come out of the division, but it's true. I mean, the Broncos are a dangerous team. the Chiefs, I think, are going to be a dangerous team in the playoffs. So just playing in that division, you need some honorable mention, but I don't think he's going to make it. I think you're right. I think he's a pretender this year. You think we know the Broncos are going to make the playoffs. So do you think he makes some noise in the playoffs, 7-1, or do you think people figure out the Tim Tebow cross Jesus around his neck and kind of stop him a little bit?
I'm not too familiar with his gameplay.
No.
We've played a couple games offline, just messing around, and that was the Broncos, and I've gotten a feel for their playbook and how Tebow works. He's thrown for 1,700 yards, 14 TDs. He's rushed for 387 yards and 5 TDs. I'm not too familiar how this type of owner is, and I'm not too familiar, how his gameplay is. He could be deadly because he's just, he could surprise you. He could be the surprise team, coming out the back door. So you can't say no. You definitely can't say no with a 7-1 record.
Because you know when people start saying no, they start saying no. The Giants aren't going to go undefeated in the season, and what did they do?
Yeah.
So you start saying no to a lot of things in football, you're going to be sadly mistaken. It looks like, stats-wise, it looks like he's put up some good games with Tebow. He's put up some mediocre games, and then mixed in a few bad games with Tim Tebow. It kind of seems like real life. When Tim Tebow needs to step up, he makes the big throws, but most of the gameplay, most of the game is decided on defense. He's second in defense for allowing third down completions.
That's excellent.
He stops teams in third down.
And he has 2 victories against the Bears and the Packers. 27-17 Week 7 matchup against the Bears. Week 8 goes right back to the Packers and wins 38-19. So he's got quality wins against quality teams.
Yeah, he does. And we talked about it. If you want to win a game, you got to convert on third down. Well, on the flip side of that, when you're on defense, you got to stop them on third down. And when you stop them on third down, most of the time that leads to good field position, which plays into Tim Tebow's hand, because we know that Tim Tebow, he can't throw a 90-yard bomb, an 80-yard bomb, or, he's more of a, I'm going to scare you with my feet and run or throw when I have to. Not saying he's a bad thrower, I'm just, that plays into his hand. So when a defense can get his offense back on the field and go 3 and out, that's impressive. He's also in the top 10 in allowing points defensively. So he only allows 19 points a game.
Yeah, you want to know why? You want to know why he has those type of stats? Listen to this. At starting cornerback, Champ Bailey.
Yeah.
Linebackers, Mario Williams, Von Miller, DJ Williams. Other cornerback, Jonathan Joseph. Those 4 guys right there I rattled off are all studs.
Yeah. Jonathan Joseph could be a number 1 corner. So
yes, he is. Yeah.
With him playing next to Champ Bailey, obviously he probably will be a number 1 corner once Champ is out of there. But hey, man, don't call him old because they'll just piss him off.
Yeah.
Let's be honest about it, because that guy just puts up, he puts up numbers and he keeps doing it. Rattle off his stats for me if you got it right on hand. What he's done just this season. Let alone his career. His career numbers are insane, but under the tutelage of this owner, I would not expect Champ Bailey to play too horribly. As Stocks does that, I'm going to talk about a team as he looks up the Bailey stats for me. I'm going to look at a team who's 4-4, the Redskins, and I want to go to a team, a playoff pretender, and then kind of go to a team that might be out of it, maybe kind of no one talks about. The Redskins, I got to applaud the Redskins because he didn't have a great season last year. He wasn't accumulating a lot of talent to begin with. When we first started, Madden, we always laughed about how they had Grossman and back, and I'm like, oh, God. This team isn't just a one player away type, team. You need a few years. And this guy's done the right things, I think, to be productive. But when you got the Eagles, who I gotta tell you, Manny's in love with the Eagles guy, but that's another love triangle for another day. But the Redskins are for real, and I know the record doesn't speak for itself, but going back to the pretender-contender deal that we talked about, a kind of a lower, lesser-named team. What were the Bailey stats? You got them for me, Stacks?
Yeah, he's got only 8 tackles, which, he doesn't have high tackle.
Yeah.
But he's got the 5 picks.
Yeah.
So, there you go.
That sounds like an older Bailey, if you will. He's not going to go out there and thug anymore with the big hits. He's done with that. He's still got the soft hands, though. It's kind of like a jump shooter in basketball. His shots the last to go, but you aren't going to see him go in there and be physical in the paint. And that's kind of what Bailey's done. He's kind of stayed away from the big hits and just relied on his pure probably his awareness and his, soft hands to get those picks. Is there any, we always talk about it, Stocks, how wild the AFC is. We're talking the Jacksonville Jaguars division, the Houston Texans. Why can't any of these guys take a step and pull away from each other?
Well, Houston has a little bit of a hold at a 6-2 record. I think we've always talked about Houston having, too many cooks in the kitchen, and maybe finally he's starting to put some of that together,
Yeah. Maybe, but maybe I just looked at. I didn't realize he was 6-2, so I apologize to that owner. I'll apologize to him later in private. But the truth is, he's had a few good games, but then he loses to teams he should win, and he doesn't really have a track record of consistently winning. So that division to me is still wide open.
Oh yeah, no doubt about it. I mean, the Titans can just rattle off win after win and just take that division over. You can't count that owner out.
And I hate to say it to the Texans, but you got to show me consistency. He says, well, I'm 6-2, that's pretty good. Yeah, but the teams like the Steelers, the guy who he plays this week, 7-1. I don't expect that guy to miss the playoffs, but that's because he's been a Super Bowl champ. He's been in the playoffs. He's been there, done that. The reason I have such a problem with that division is nobody's been there or really done that consistently. And gridiron gamers. I mean, you got the Colts who always does. When you count these guys out, they win. But
in the Colts aspect, when you have your best quarterback out for 6 to 8 weeks with I forget what he had, a broken collarbone or whatever. I'm not sure what injury, but Manning's out.
Yeah. Well, injuries do play a role, no question about it. I mean, I know that with having my middle linebacker Tolick out for the season. And I'm not saying, he played a few games, now he's out for the season. He was gone week 1 in the second quarter, I think it was. So I basically never had him. So I know what injuries can do. I'm just saying, in gridiron terms, nobody's ever took a stranglehold of this division. So this is my challenge to the Texans. You're 6-2. You want people to respect you. You got to go to the playoffs, and you got to go in a dominating fashion. You got to finish this season with maybe no more losses, or maybe you only have a few more losses. But you definitely take care of your division opponents, and people will notice. That's how you make a name for yourself. I really think that the Texans can make a name for himself. He just hasn't yet. This is his chance. Let's see. Talk about the Giants. Probably, are they still undefeated?
Yes, they are.
It becomes such a common oddity, I guess you could call it, that we don't really spend a lot of time on it.
Yeah, and it's funny on the streak. He technically has a 24-game win streak.
Yeah. Season-wise, yeah. And even if you want to count the playoff loss that he had, he's got one loss, and all those wins racked up. Just boom, 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 boom. And I played the guy. I played him not as the Giants, so I don't know how he plays this year, but I played him in previous versions of Madden. He didn't seem anything like a cheeser in those editions of Madden, those editions of Gridiron. I know the game's a little different. The guy just seems like a straight-up player to me, and he always has been straight up. I think you played him this season, Stocks. How was he? Maybe not this season, but you played him last season for sure. He didn't do anything.
Yeah, I think I play him later on this season.
Yeah. But he didn't do anything cheesing or cheating or
no, we've never once had anybody call his gameplay out.
Yeah, so that's even more remarkable. I mean, not saying that not saying that people when they go undefeated have. That just shows you that you can play this game fair, straight up, and have success. And that's a big thing because people think, well, the only way for me to win is to cheese. The most important thing is winning. I guarantee you, the Giants would say the most important thing is to be in this league, and to be in this league, you have to play fair. And he's playing fair, and he's beating everyone. What about the Oakland Raiders? We said, oh my God, this guy has not won a game. Then he played me, and of course he got to win then. But I digress again. But the guy has not only beaten me, but he's beaten some teams now. Is he a contender or a pretender?
Well, the Terrell Pryor aspect of it, I don't like. The Darren McFadden aspect, I do like, and I believe a McFadden type could carry your team to the promised land. I don't know if he's dug himself too much of a hole in how the rest of his schedule looks. But he did beat a good Steelers team. So,
I think he's done, Stocks. I think he's done. Okay. I think he's learned a lesson. Like, hey, I can't sleep anymore. Because he's been accused of doing that a few times where he's kind of, won the games when he needed to win to get in the playoffs and then do damage. I mean, you look at it last year, he didn't really wow you with any season stats. He was like the opposite of the Giants. The Giants...
Yeah, and all he had to do was get in the playoffs, and his style and the McFadden factor carried him to the Super Bowl.
Yes, sir. Yeah,
he got hot at the right time.
Yep.
I mean, I believe that comes into play.
Oh, it definitely does. Madden, real life, it doesn't matter. It comes into play. And I just think he thought he could do the same thing as he did last year, and some people improved, and he kind of did the same. That Super Bowl hangover. I'm sorry, but it affected you. You're drinking too much wine, drinking too much Kool-Aid. You were drinking something. And now he's kind of woken up. He's kind of had that sip on the bottle, if you know what I mean. And he's kind of, woken up a little bit, but I think it's too little too late. I think that about covers it for me.
I just had a quick question about the Detroit Lions. I know you're in the hole and everything, but the Matthew Stafford aspect, if you could give him a grade as of right now during the season, he hasn't been injured.
No.
What kind of grade would you give him up till now?
If you would have asked me this 3 weeks ago, it would have been an F. Across the board, I might have been even looking for a quarterback. Now, it's not really that. I realized what I was doing with him, and I looked back at some of the stats, and I realized, hey, I put him in a hole. When you put your quarterback in a hole, and you pretty much say you got to throw the ball this many times in the first quarter first to have a chance, he's going to throw some interceptions, this season, but I mean, past seasons even, I wasn't running the ball enough. And so I started running the ball a lot more these last few games. Even when I'm down, I was like, screw it, I got to run the ball. Because you can't ask Matthew to throw a ton of passes. You can't ask any quarterback to throw a ton like that. The defense will just sit back. They'll send pressure off the edges. You become one-dimensional. So I'm 0-8, and that's really unfortunate. Believe me. I mean, if anyone knows, I'm really competitive, so I hate being 0-8. The one thing I learned is you got to run the ball, and I got to learn how to run the ball, and I'm getting better slowly. I mean, you look at LaShore's numbers; he's slowly getting better every week. Trying to work on something different, trying to maybe find a different running formation, trying to find a different, kind of thing. I do need a fullback in the draft. In the free agency somewhere, I need to get a legitimate, big time, answer fullback. I have a lot of running backs on the roster because I want to find that running back who can. LaShore is pretty much sealed up. He's the corner piece of my running game. I need to find out who's that backup, who's that second train. That the Tampa Bay obviously figured out in the last few games. He's won a few games. I need to find that second running back who can relieve LaShore when he gets tired. And once I find that, like the Tampa Bay Bucks, I'm sure I can rattle off some wins. That's all you have?
I'm very curious about the Stafford, playing this year versus last year. What would you give him for? So what would you give him as a grade as of today?
As of today, I give him a C minus.
C minus, okay.
I really think it was more my fault than his a lot of times because once I slowed him down, I was trying to force it to Kelvin Johnson a lot of the time, and I realized, hey, Kelvin's just having a bad year. Yeah, he's a great player, but sometimes, you just can't get it going. And I stopped forcing it to him so much, and I started spreading the ball around. And you know what I found? I found T.J. Houshmandzadeh can catch some balls. I found my tight end, Tony Scheffler, can do some things. So I'm finding out about my team as I'm playing, and that's really exciting going into next season. Not only because now I know what my team can do, because I really thought, honestly, hey, I have Kelvin Johnson, I have Matthew Stafford, I have a pretty good defense. And now I say, hey, I have a pretty good team. To be honest, I was only the big players when I played. I was looking at Kelvin Johnson, I was looking at maybe Nate Burleson now, but now it's kind of wide open, and that's kind of fun for me. What really hurt me from a season perspective is I lost Stephen Tulloch, and that's...
Oh, that's huge. That is just huge.
You need a middle linebacker in this game. I mean, everyone knows about the middle linebacker catches. Everyone knows about how much ground they can cover on defense. When you lose, I tell you what, Stephen Tulloch might be the most underrated middle linebacker, and definitely Madden because he's like an 86, 88 middle linebacker. I mean, so he's definitely one of the most underrated Madden linebackers in the game. I think he's got speed, he's got awareness. So when you lose a guy like that, plus I lost Louis Domas, my safety, but when a door closes on an injury, don't forget, another one opens. I put in that rookie who I didn't really think I was going to play, and he's rattled off some good stats. So, I'm taking the good with the bad, and that's what you got to do as a losing team or any kind of team, really. And I'm pretty sure that's what you probably do with your Saints, even win or make the playoffs. You're still evaluating your team each and every week, and that's what I do, and that's what everyone else should do. On that note, I think we're good. I think we're going to run out. We gave you like 48 minutes of complete stocks and Logan action.
Yeah, I guess we're back on the map a little rusty, but that's all right.
Yeah, and I'll tell you what, I'll tell you every week until someone does that. I want some people to join the show. I want some people to, really experience what it's like to be on the show. We'll try to get Alex back. Maybe we'll try to do some segments with Manny. But Manny's not a full-time guy. He's already running the league, so we can't expect too much of him. So if you got 5 minutes here, got 5 minutes there, we could collectively put a pretty good show together. All you got to do is send me a voicemail. We don't even got to be on the same time zone. Just, punch in my name, send me a voicemail. I'll try my best to get it on. So that's all you really have to do. It's not that difficult. I know a lot of people aren't into it now. I get that. Hey, enjoy the real playoffs. They're going to be fun. I'll definitely have some fun. You might not want to hit me up. I might be a little drunk after I watch the game because we might be winning. And I tell you what, Matthew Stafford was 2 years old the last time the Lions won a playoff game.
All I'm going to say is anything can happen in the playoffs. If you remember what the Seattle Seahawks did to the Saints, I'm not going to put anything past anything.
Well, I don't want to say too much, but I'm just saying that we're a lot more talented than we've ever gotten credit for. And, I've always said that line. We're a lot more talented than we give ourselves credit for. But this Saints game, we really have to just shut up and go and get it now.
Yep, that's it.
The pressure's going to be on us. People are going to be watching us. I can't say, you talk about my Lions, but then you don't know about my Lions. Well, they're going to be knowing because they'll be watching. So this is an important game for us.
Yep.
So real quick, just real life, who do you think wins the real life matchups?
Saints, Lions, I'll have to go with the Saints.
Yep.
Close shootout game.
Yep.
The Houston, Cincinnati, I'd go with the Houston Texans. And then we got Atlanta, the Giants. I believe the Giants come out with the victory there. And then, Pittsburgh.
Who does Pittsburgh have? Trying to think.
Drawing a blank.
Yeah, I am too. I'll give you mine as you look it up. How about that?
All right.
The Saints. The Saints. I can't call that. Say, I almost said they win. No, I can't call that. Listen, I think it's gonna be a close game. I really, really, really want to win, no question about it. But I would just be really happy if we go up there and we give 100%. You know, no shenanigans, no Sue stomping, kick wheeling, wheeling and dealing. Just go out there and play a clean, fair game. I would love it. It would just be great for me. I think Atlanta beats the Giants. I think Cincinnati at Houston. And the Denver Broncos play at Pittsburgh.
Yep.
Man, I think we're going to hell. We forgot about Denver.
I know. We're all done. We're doomed.
Cincinnati at Houston. I'm going to go with the upset special of the week. I say Andy Dalton and A.J. Green. They got the connection, man. I say they beat Houston. I think Mario Williams' injury, I think all their injuries finally catch up to them. They've had a magical season if you really think about all their injuries they've had. I think all that finally catches up to them. Denver at Pittsburgh. Listen, man. I'm going out, man. I'm doing it. Denver wins.
Oh, man. I don't see it happening.
No.
The defense alone with Tebow, I mean, yeah, he's going to make things happen. But in order for Denver to win, they cannot turn the ball over once. Not once. If they can do that, they got a chance. They turn the ball over one time, it's all done.
Yeah.
It's a ball controlled offense with Pittsburgh, and if you're gonna give them an extra shot because Tebow fumbles or throws a pick, you're not gonna be able to catch up to him.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I mean, listen, I stumbled. I mean, Pittsburgh is definitely the favorite, but every time I put my money on Denver, they've won. And I tell you what, Tim Tebow won me a beer this season, so I can't go against him now. Isn't it funny though? He's all God religious, and I won a beer off him. That's just that's ironic in itself. But we're gonna get out of here now. Hope you guys enjoyed this show. We tried putting some humor into it, and maybe just because we've been gone for 2 weeks, that added enough humor with our dead spots and our miscues and all that kind of stuff. Maybe that added enough humor for you. But we're gonna get out of here. Peace.